So just let you know it is being recorded. So if there is anything that you are going to share or want to share, just be mindful of that. It is being recorded and the replay will be going out to all those who registered that are not showing up live. I want to thank you for showing up live as well, because I always think you get the best when you show up live, and then you can ask questions in real time. Replays, of course, you can't ask any questions. I can look at individual situations for you on this call as well if you want to share. As I said, it is being recorded. So welcome to my Brilliance class. I do these Brilliance classes about every month. I'll definitely be having a habit of doing these. I took time off, but now we're back into it. Today, what we're going to do is the step-by-step guide to get known and consistently attract coaching clients. So that's what this one is going to teach you as we move along. I just want to see if you downloaded your handbook as well that came along. So if you've got the emails on this, you would have had a download link as well to get the handbook. That handbook or guidebook, whatever you want to call it, is for you to keep. We're following along that today. So you don't absolutely need to have it with you, but it is helpful because it will have questions and that on each page, and you can work through those if you want along the way. So just if you haven't got it, that's fine. We'll still be able to help you out today. If you have and it's there, you can whoosh your way through that as well. Remember, stick around to the end because I'm going to hand out 5 of my Radiance readings. So I know that I have a lot of very like-minded people who come onto these calls with me, and my people around me are very like-minded. So I don't have a problem at all telling you that one of my special, I just love this, that I can do that. When I look at it as at coaches and change makers individually, there is the dimension that is here on this earth. And then there's that dimension I can see right beside you that is you to your full potential. Everything that you can do and be and what you're meant to be here on this earth as a coach and change maker. So I'll be rewarding, if you stick around to the end, 5 of our people who are live. And if not too many of you show up, then you've all got a pretty good chance, maybe, of getting one of these 5 Radiance readings. I'm not going to do them on the call here, but we'll definitely connect with you and you can book a time to do one of them. They're only about 20 minutes, half an hour, but it should be enlightening for you. And I certainly help you out with your coaching and change making biz. What I can see is what your potential is there and looks like. And, we might even look into some of the things I can see is how the clients see you and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah, if you want to chat, by all means, use the chat box because I will be keeping an eye on that as we move along. Why I'm doing this step-by-step guide, I've worked with thousands of coaches over the years. I've been doing this for 10 years now, working with the very beginner coaches all the way through to top-level coaches. And what is really clear is the biggest problem for coaches is how to get started and how to create those clients. The top-level ones that I've worked with, they're usually wanting to do some sort of up-leveling work of some sort, but they always say the same thing. It's difficult when they first started out to know what to do, what they needed to focus on so that they could actually get started. And there's a lot of advice out there now in social media, particularly Facebook land, Instagram, lots and lots of advice on how to get clients. But it doesn't necessarily match you. There's often conflict because the marketers do it a certain way, and that doesn't always suit us. I know it never suited me. Certainly being told to, message 100 people a day, cold messaging, did not feel right to me. It wasn't joyous. It wasn't how I wanted to do my business. It also wasn't how I wanted to come across. I wanted to come across as people wanting what and needing me and what I had it. So this attraction factor rather than cold, hard chasing. Energetically, it just didn't feel right. And I also feel that it puts you on a back foot. I think there's a sense of almost looking desperate to it. Now, don't get me wrong, there is sometimes that we will need to follow up people. That's very different than that cold DMing that many of the six-figure marketers telling people to do these days. Get 6 figures in 6 weeks. And when you sign up for the program for $10,000, all they're teaching you or telling you to do is go into Facebook groups and message all the members, or go to your other coaches' friends list and message all the members. And that's about as creative as a lot of those programs get. So it's not very creative. I'm more concerned with how do you build as a coach an abundant, thriving coaching business radiantly in a way that people want to come to you. So that's what we're going to show today. I'm not going to show all the steps, obviously. This is going to be the steps that if you're a new coach, you definitely need to look at first. So don't just jump into trying to chase down clients or putting out marketing, trying to get them. You need to make sure that you've got these steps in place first. If you are an established coach who's been around for a while, look at these steps and see, if I'm not where I felt I should be or would like to be at this point, maybe there's some of these steps that I'm missing. So often we jump way ahead, and then what's missing is some of these foundational things, and people go, I don't know why I can't get clients. I don't know why I can't get clients. And then when I sit down with them and work with them and look at their business, it's really evident to me straight away what they're missing. And often it's one of these very, very first steps. So this class to you, just, make sure that you're here and it's something you want to stick around for. If you have a desire to reach more people and transform more lives for a greater good, many of you that I know on here, I know that's the case. You're all doing great stuff out there in the world. And I do think you are the true change makers of this, of this world, of our industry as well. Not everyone is, as we know. It's for you if you are a new coach and you're saying, well, how do I get started? We're going to show you those initial things you must focus on first. And it's also for you if you've been coaching for a while. And as I said, not quite where you felt that you wanted to be. And this might give you some new ideas of where you've got to go back and have a look and start with. I got to do the about me. I know most of you will know me, but there are a few new faces on here that I don't know yet. I really work on radiance and influence for coaches and change makers as a client attraction coach. My work is really in helping coaches and change makers who do want to make an impact on the world, who do want to create good out there, as well as creating abundance for themselves. This is not a one-way thing. I do really truly believe that when you are doing your work with passion and purpose and with flow and feeling good about it, you will be rewarded with abundance in return for the abundance that you give others, whatever that particular area that you are helping others with. So I'm really much about having you get known, increasing that presence that you have. So it is radiant. So then it actually magnetically just draws and attracts the right people. There is this thing that I know is true, and a lot of people don't think about it. But if nobody knows who you are and what you can do for them, how can they possibly hire you? So of course we have to get out there and we need to get known to our ideal soul clients. And that's the work that I help people with. On a personal note, I'm a nature lover. I live in a country property. So as I was mentioning, if this cuts out for any reason, because the internet's pretty crappy out here, and with the weather coming in with all the rain, it is a possibility. I will just reschedule. It's no huge drama. You'll also find that I'm pretty casual on here. We can chat. Nothing is perfect. and nothing has been, I sort of just did the slides up last night, believe it or not. Some of my people know I'll just do the slides the night before, just show up and just deliver whatever comes to mind for me along the way. I'm also a wildlife carer. One of the reasons why I wanted to get into the coaching industry, because I never wanted to go out and work 9 to 5. I always wanted to be able to stay home on my country property and look after the wildlife that came to me, and also my animals, particularly my kangaroos, my horses, my birds, my bunnies. If any of you follow me, you'll often see pictures of them. So I also call myself an animal advocate, an animal warrior, and a horse mum. And that is one of my beautiful boys, one of the love of my life. That's the teddy boy. So many of you will have heard me talk about my teddy boy horse. That's him, a beautiful, beautiful gypsy boy. I know Kristen is on listening in and she knows all about the teddy boy. So one of the loves of my life. Let's move on. Radiance. That is what we are aiming to achieve. Not this horrible hustle where you have to go into people's groups and try and go into their members lists and get all the members and then sit there doing 100 messy copy and paste messages a day. That doesn't feel very radiant, I don't think. I always found, you know, the reason why I know that system and what happens there is because I've actually had a few clients that were doing that system and we changed the whole thing around for them. I don't tend to draw those people doing that hustle too much anyway. They're not attracted to my vibe, but the few that I have that just realized it wasn't for them and wanted a new way, you know, that they were on a numbers game. So it's pretty much, you know, maybe 1 in 100 I might convert. So it was work to make sure that you were sending out those copy and paste messages every day. That's not my style. And I know for many of you, it won't be what you want to be doing either. I think it feels so much more beautiful. And I just think you will feel so much more in tune with your work if you know you are shining radiantly in a way that people know you exist, know the value of your work, and want to come to you. It feels very different, doesn't it, energetically? And imagine working every day under that hustle and, oh, this is just what I've got to do every day, copy and paste this message and try and engage people in these conversations. Imagine if you've got, you know, you're engaging in other ways. I'm engaging with you right now and it feels beautiful and wonderful and I love doing these presentations. You might have an audience, you know, or a Facebook group like I have. And I love to go into my Facebook group every day and engage with the people who are in there engaging with me. And that just feels so much more beautiful and pleasurable. And I think if you can get in a really good space with your coaching and change making business, the changes start to happen. That is a big thing that I have noticed. As I said, I've worked with a lot of coaches and change makers. So let's look at these steps for developing this radiance. Step 1. I think if you come into this, you really, really, really need to know, what am I here for? And the reason you need to know, what am I here for? What do I want to get out of this? Is because it can be very easy to give up, because it's not necessarily super easy at first. You know, when I started my coach journey, I did my training and there was about 30 people, I think, or 33 people in my intake class for the weekend that I went to. And about within 12 months, there was only about 3 of us still going. So it's very easy to drop out of this industry because there's a lot of people, you know, trying to make it quickly when the fact is it is a more longer term goal. That doesn't mean you can't be getting clients and doing very well quite quickly, but if you're looking at this longer term, what's going to keep you here? So some of the questions you may ask yourself is, you know, why did you want to become a coach in the first place? And if you've got a response to that, or a change maker, those of you who don't see yourself as coaches, some of you will see yourself as coaches, some will see yourself as change makers. To me, you're all one and the same. You're all wonderful. You're all doing amazing work. And you are the people that I want for clients to come to, not what I call the other side. I'm more interested in you people because you guys are the fabulous ones doing the work that I really, really gel with. So you can have a look at what's your big why. Mine was really simple. If you see my little note, I never wanted to go work in a 9 to 5. I really value freedom. So I wanted to feel free, and going to a 9 to 5 job wasn't free for me. Before this, I ran a large business in the mining industry. And I just worked it from home here with my husband at the time. And when we got divorced, I got thrown out of that. And it was either, you know, I needed to make income, and I needed to make income fast, because I was basically thrown out of the company, had no income at all. And here I was on this country property with these horses and all these wildlife coming through that I had to look after and pay for, and a little daughter. And it was like, how am I going to upkeep this? I need to make money fast. I chose coaching because it looked like a really good way at the time, and it still is for me, to be able to stay home and still create income. I was very lucky. I got clients within my first 3 months of doing my coaching training. I hadn't even graduated or anything like that. I'd only been started for 3 months, and I got 7 international coaching clients in one hit. It was like, oh, phew. You know, so that was a bit of a lift off for me. It was good. I'll share with you, and I will talk a little bit today about the Step into the Spotlight, Get Known, Attract Clients Academy, which we've got coming up, because how I got those first 7 clients is one of the ways that I share and will show you in the Spotlight Academy. But there were times during that journey, you know, yes, I got the first 7, but there were times during that journey when the clients would be gone and you were in a big slump, and like the money's starting to run out, and you're going, or, you know, do I need to go on Social Security now because there's nothing coming in? So it takes a lot of commitment, and there was no way, you know, I could have just given up at some points in my life in this journey and said, that's it, I'm just going to go and get a safe 9 to 5 job. At least I've got a solid income. And that's what happens to many people, because they can't create the income that they desire with their coach and change making business. So of course they need to go back and work 9 to 5. For me, I was so adamant that was not going to happen, and I was going to find the ways to make sure that I was creating income from what I was doing, so I could stay home in my blessed little house where I love to be. It's only a small house. So if you've got, you know, your why to share, please do. As I reminded you, this is recorded. So if you don't wish to share, I'm absolutely fine with that. But, you know, sharing is great because it also helps other people think and inspires them as well. So tap into your why. That's very important because it helps you stay committed. You know, I think Amy is on here. And if you don't mind me sharing, Amy, you know, Amy was like, well, I just want people to play with. You know, it didn't have to be a why like mine, which was about a freedom, or it didn't have to be a why like I want to make, you know, 100K a year. It doesn't have to be any of those sort of buys. It is your individual why. And Amy just loves to explore and have people to explore with. So that was her why. And I think it's a wonderful why. So yours doesn't have to be the same. Amy's just added, it was also about being able to stay home, not go insane. I needed something to take me beyond. I'd actually love staying home, Amy, and I don't go insane. I could probably just sit around with my animals all day long. But what I do love about my coaching and change-making business, because I am a hermit, so I do tend to not leave my house or my property or my animals very much. But what I do love is exactly what Amy's talking about. Because I've built such a beautiful, beautiful online connections and have developed wonderful peers within this industry, there is always someone to talk all this beautiful high vibe stuff with, which is not necessarily the conversation that I have from my amazing Daryl when he comes home from work each day. So that's been a big plus for me too, kind of. Shelley, I do enjoy being home and also the freedom to move about as I choose. That's why online work is great for me. Yeah, same here. I love the online work. I don't want to. I actually have really never done a 9 to 5 very often at all. A couple of part-time jobs, and I hated it and got out of it very quickly. Let's move on. That's step one. Now, that is one that you really need to understand within yourself. And just because someone doesn't understand it, that's okay, as long as you know, what am I in this for? I'd like to stretch you a little beyond, I just want to help people. So often when I first start working with groups of people, the first response I'll get is, I just want to help people. That's lovely, but take it even further. What are you getting out of helping people? You know, is it a higher sense of self? Is it some sense of significance? What's important to you about helping others? Go a bit further than the response of, I just want to help people, because that's not good enough. You need to go in higher than that, because I just want to help people. You can very, very easily have some really bad days, weeks, or months within the coaching industry. And I just want to help people goes out the window. So set a higher reason as to why you're in there. Step two, you've got to be able to dream and set intentions. For those of you who don't talk intentions, it, of course, set your goals and have a strong desire to follow through on them. So how do you do this? Map it out. Map it out. And what I teach my clients and those in the academies is to set out a 3-month plan. Now, there are some people who don't like the planning aspect of it very well, but I find if you can plan in your way and add some structure, it will make a huge shift to your business, because I find that there's a lot of coaches out there getting up each day with not really knowing what the day's going to bring for them, or not really knowing what it is that they're putting together. So for me, I have my entire year all planned out. So I know that we're working on the Step and Spotlight Academy right now. We're starting that next week. So boom, we're off with that. And then I've got my next projects and my next projects. And I love that. I love that I know where my money is coming from. I love that I know what's going on for me and what my team and I are working on. I don't plan through my days like I see some people with their calendars and every minute is scheduled. I'm not a scheduler like that. I just have what's going on each day and put in my client appointments, and then what it is that I want to accomplish that day. And I don't overload myself, because one, I usually don't start till around 12 noon. I do these at this time to allow for US people to come on. So hi, Amanda and Serena and anyone else there that's in the US, because it doesn't work for you guys if I do it in the afternoon when I do start normally. And then I go through till about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then it's time to go outside with my horses and my animals. So I have my day worked out, but I'm not scheduling those days. I just know what I'm accomplishing each day. So think about starting to plan if you are not already planning. I work with so many and come across so many, and I'll say, well, where's your money coming in from? And they really don't know. They're just hoping on a prayer that a client will show up. You need to plan to create clients. You need to plan what's going to happen that's going to bring in those clients. So, you know, I want to do some Facebook Lives, for example. I'm going to make Instagram Reels. Reels are doing really well at the moment these days too, by the way. They have a lot of reach. So anyone into the Reels, Instagram, and of course they're going on Facebook now, it's a good one to get into if it suits you. Plan to make so many Reels per week and get them out there. If you want some help in that workbook that I told you to, didn't tell you, that I gave you, of course, you can download your 90-day goal planning sheets from a link if you click in that workbook. So I've given you a few freebies in the workbook that came with this class. So I hope that you'll utilize it and move through it. But you'll get some goal planning sheets in that. Also in the Academy, of course, we help you set those 90-day goal planning. And once you finish one 90-day, of course, you've got to move on to the next 90 days. Step 3, this one is so important. I think this is actually the magic one. This is the one that really makes the difference. You got to believe. I'm not talking about confidence. Confidence comes as you grow and you start doing things that are outside of your comfort zone or seem a little bit scary, especially for the newer ones. You know, when you're first starting out, when you hear the conversations, for example, in my Brilliance realm, some of the newer coaches come in, they hear those conversations and they think those people are way beyond them because of the amazing things that they're doing, like showing up in media and doing the webinars and the trainings and holding their own podcasts and all sorts of amazing things that are going on, stepping on stage and speaking. It's just that their confidence has evolved over time. So the more that you can start to action and do things, it's just like driving a car. You know, remember when you first tried driving a car and you might have been bunny hopping all over the place? Confidence comes with doing and that. Believing is believing this is going to happen for you. And there's a magic in that belief because it will help you set your intentions and your goals so much easier than if you go into it sort of half-ish. Oh, I think this is my goal, but I don't really know if I can get there. When you truly believe this is possible for me, the magic does start to happen because you will automatically start acting, which grows the confidence as well. So ask yourself, what do you currently believe about yourself? What do you need to be able to believe so that you can step into the spotlight and shine? I actually think this is the most important element of a successful coach and change maker. So whether you're just starting out or whether you've been a coach for a few years, you know, I get some coaches that, you know, have been around for 5, 6, 7 years and they're still not where they would like to be. This will be one of the missing things. They're still doubting whether it's actually ever going to happen for them and whether, you know, they should just give up and walk away. That sort of doubt is still there. So once you can really step into this belief, one of the feedbacks I get from the people that I work with is that I have such solid belief in them. There's a reason why. And I mentioned that to you earlier on. Because of my abilities, I can see the earthly you sitting here with all the stuff that goes on for you and everything that pulls at you and all the rest of it. And then I can see this you. This is the radiance you. This is the full potential. This is the divine given you. And they exist beside each other, and I can literally see them. That is why it's so easy for me to have the belief, because I know what's there for you should you choose to run with it, believe it, and pick it up. But it's definitely there for you because I can always see it. Always. I can always see what's there. So this belief is super, super important. And I think it's why I have such wonderful, beautiful clients as well, because my belief helps their belief. And I think that that just works magically. And it's not hard for me to have that belief because, like I said, I can see. So cultivate that, if anything. Get yourself some little mottos as well, if it helps. This is actually the one I started out with, and I just wanted to share it because it might be helpful. But have yourself a little mantra or something that helps that belief. But for me, starting out as someone very shy, I am magnetic to people, ideas, opportunities, and events. I was extremely shy. So it doesn't work for me to actually reach out to people anyway. I prefer them to come to me just because of my nature. This is why when I work with individuals, we have to work with your nature and the way that you are. There's no point pushing you down a road that isn't going to suit you or work for you, because it's a waste of money and it's pointless and it doesn't work. So that was mine. Anyone got a mantra that they love that helps their belief, by all means, put it in the chat box there. So everyone can look at it and we can share with each other. In the workbook that I sent that you could download, if not, go back, check your emails, and you'll find a download button in one of them, in some of them there somewhere. I've got a few other little mantras, but have one that just works for you. And I would stick that there. And I think I had that there for about 12 months and just really went with it. This next one, step number 4, this is the biggie and what most people are missing. The one thing. A lot of people get caught up in the idea of niche. Who's my niche? What's my niche? What's my niche? Or who's my people? Am I working with ladies, you know, women from 30 to 50 or whatever? They get really, really stuck up into that stuff because that's what you're taught to get stuck on. Niche, niche, niche. That's not where I go. Yes, it's a factor. We have to know who it is that we're speaking to in our market and where they are. But what's most important of all is your one thing. This was a concept I developed after working a good 4 or 5 years with coaches, thousands of coaches through the Coaching Institute, and most of them were struggling around niche, and then blocking themselves and staying stuck in that place and jumping all over the place around the niche. Doesn't matter. What you really want to know is what people are going to automatically associate your name with. What are they going to come to you for? That's your one thing. So they don't really care that you've got a niche of them. What they really care about is what you represent to them. So for me, my one thing is working with coaches and change makers so they get known and attract more clients. It's as simple as that. So don't overcomplicate your one thing. It's a very, very simple thing. It's just some people take a while to work out what it is. And again, as I said, in the Spotlight Academy, which I will mention a fair bit because I love the Academy and I love the people going through it. One thing is one thing that we really hone from. And, sometimes it can take people up to 3 months to really hone in on that one thing. And once you've honed in on your one thing, that doesn't mean in time that you can't change it over time. But I always say that your one thing is like, if everyone can imagine an umbrella. So think of an umbrella, think of holding that umbrella. So you've got all these spokes, right, of the umbrella, and then you've got the roof holding it up. So your one thing is like the roof, and it might be black, it might be shiny, it might be a colorful floral umbrella, but that's your one thing. It's what everyone sees. It's what they associate as you, as what you give to them. So an example is Tony Robbins. It's personal power. Louise Hay, I know she's passed, but she was a perfect example of her one thing was affirmations to heal your life. Everyone knew that Louise was the goddess around affirmations to heal your life. This is where you want to be, because that is what up levels you from a life coach. That's what up levels you. So you don't want to be just any old life coach. It's not going to serve you. You want to have that stand out aspect. It's your one thing. This is probably one of the harder things that for people to work out what it is that they can actually represent. Going back to our umbrella, our one thing is the top. The spokes are all the ways and all the little things that you can play with underneath that one thing. So one thing, for example, yes, my one thing is get known and attract clients. Yet I also teach people how to build big Facebook groups with my Facebook group Magicians course. And I also love to work with things like my client attraction mystics, which is working with the tarot and other aspects to help people and give us greater insights into their coaching change-making business. So there are other things that are under my one thing, but they all must lead to the one thing. So if I'm working with tarot with you, I'm not going to read or work with the tarot or any of the other things that I can work with that come in through here on your love and relationships. I'm just not going to go there because it's not connected to my one thing. The only way I'm going to utilize it is connecting it and helping you build your coaching business, create a larger audience, and create that radiance that works to bring people to you. Why? Because they know you're the person to go to for life after divorce. I just threw that one out because we just talked to the one things. If I look at our beautiful Julie Nelson, who is on here today with me. Julie is the botanical perfumer and the rich witch. And she also does astrology and all that. And it's all aligned under that whole one thing. And I just love her rich witch movement because she gets to play with a lot of the things she likes, her aromatherapy and her perfumery and that, all under being rich witches. That's her one thing. So your one thing will help create your movement, and you'll find when you've created your movement, your one thing, you are up leveling in the way that people see you. We don't want people to see you as just another old life coach. So I hope everyone gets the one thing. Just check chat box. Yeah, one thing is it either comes very quickly, Shelley, or it can take a while to put it into the right words. Oh, thank you, Julie, for sharing your mantra. An iconic rich, magically manifesting my intentions. I love your rich. Yeah, Amy. Because Amy, you have so many passions. That's probably why it was struggling for you to put it under the one thing. But with Amy, what we did in the Spotlight Academy was Amy could have all these passions. Amy has a lot of beautiful interests that she brings into her business, but we had to put it under one umbrella. So she could have the spokes underneath that she could play with, but it all had to lead to the one thing. William, revealing your hidden truths. Yes. And I love how you used the tarot and the NLP combined and the other personality what do you call it? Personality types to get there as well. So one thing is one area that probably takes a little bit longer for some people to get. Step 5. I am surprised how many people actually miss that. They just dawdle along with their coaching business and don't really keep track of the numbers. They're just desperately thinking of where the next client's going to come from. But I think you've got to aim for numbers, and you need to know the numbers that you need to stay in business and not, for me, I needed to know what I needed to bring in. So I didn't have to go get a 9 to 5. And then I could plan to make that money, to create it. So I call it your magic number. And it's your monthly income number to stay in business. And the reason I break it down to a monthly income number is because, you might say, I want to make 100 grand, or I just want to get to 50 grand or whatever. But that doesn't really help us that much plan on a weekly and monthly basis what activities are going to draw in that money. So I think it helps to break it down to a monthly figure and make sure that you're tracking it. Make sure you're tracking and that you're on track to see where it's coming from. Because if you realize, it's not coming in April, then you know to pull your finger out and maybe create some really amazing offers that your market will respond to. So I always say that 5K a month was a good starting point to aim for. That's where I first started aiming for. And that's where many will start. But some of you may go, no, I need 10K, 20K a month, and that's fine. For a lot of coaches in the industry, the 20K a month is where most people I find tend to like to want to get to and like to be. But I think if you can just work out how to get to the 5K a month, then you can learn how to do the rest after that. It's kind of like up level. Don't try and jump to here unless you're really, really able to jump to here. And the problem is when people start to go, I'm just going to earn, 20K a month, and they try and jump to there, gets frustrating for them because they actually haven't connected all the dots of how to make 5K for starters. So know your magic number and what it is that you want to bring in, and then have your plan, which we talked about earlier, goals, intentions, and plans. Have your monthly, yearly plan to pull it in so that you know what you're doing each month. So a lot aren't operating that way. They just wake up each day and go, will a client show up? Oh, I might go and do some posts on social media and hope that it will draw in a client. For the most case, it won't. So know your magic numbers. And of course, if you don't know how to get there, that's why we have places like the Academy. Step 6. You got to bring that number to life. So once you've worked out what you actually need, and of course, if you are already at 5K a month, you might then say, okay, I want to go up to 10. I need to up level to 10 or 15 or 20. Okay. So just know where you're at and where you want to be. So once you've decided your magic number, you've got to be able to bring it to life. Then it's got to happen, doesn't it? So there you've got to work out, what do I need to sell, and what activity do I need to do to bring those people into the one-to-one packages or the group programs or the courses or even the products that I'm going to sell. For those of you not in coach land, that's very coach land. For those of you that might be healers and spiritual workers, it is the same deal. You still have to work out how many clients do I need to serve, or how many one-to-ones do I have? Do I need, for me to reach that magic number, do I need to provide or create a program or a course? Because if your one-to-one isn't going to bring it in, then you need to look at what other ways it's going to come in. That's why in the Spotlight Academy, we help you to work out what you could be creating to bring in the magic number that you first want to reach, okay? All right, so we've given you those basics. They're the foundations, and you might go, whoo. Some of you go, no, I know all that. Tick, 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 tick. Fantastic, great. We're going to call in the clients now. Your next steps really is what you'll be doing to make that magic number, to call in the clients, and in time make so much more than your magic number as well, because you know some of you might be happy with a certain number and you don't actually want to up level anymore, and that's fine. I don't particularly want to be the world's biggest coach, to be honest. I'm way too busy out with my horses and doing horsey stuff to focus an exceptional amount. Yeah, you could do the one-to-one for sure, Julie. In fact, your Rich Witch packages are perfect one-to-ones. I just think that they're stunning, but there are other ways, of course, if you want to. But I would really also be focusing on those Rich Witch packages when you get the right people, of course, coming in for that can come into the one-to-one. So let's have a look at the next steps on actually calling in the clients. This one's really important. Step 7, you're going to have across the platform presence, and it must look the same. So you've got to have a standout look that attracts your ideal clients to you. You can all get the gist of mine. It's obviously about radiance. I just love magic, and archetype-wise, I am a magician or an alchemist, if you wish to call it that way, and that's my top archetype, and then crossed with nature child, which helps me to really ground. I think grounding is important in our industry. I think it's good to be able to ground yourself. Some people are very much up here, and I do find I have to bring them down and ground them just a little bit. As much as I love the magic that they can create up here, I think we also need to always add some structure to help with that grounding. And it's one of the other things, there's not enough structure, which means there's not enough discipline, goal setting, and planning to do it. Amy Taylor, actually, and Amy, I am bringing you up, but Amy does work with your planning style as well. That was one of the things that she created with us within the Spotlight Academy, and I love it because cookie cutting planning or my way of planning may not work for you. So it's really good to find out how you like to plan and find the ways that work with you. That's why I don't do cookie cutter, because the one size fits all isn't fair on the vast majority of people, because just because that one size fits the particular coach or the trainer, that doesn't mean with all your individual styles and ways that it's going to work for you. And so you're spending money on learning something that you may absolutely not suit you at all. So you've got to learn to work it your way. That's why in the academy, when I'm working you, that's what I'm looking for all the time. That isn't working for that person. I need to find a way that's going to work for them. So, but it's across the platform presence. You must have the look that is the same across all your social media platforms and your website. So I call it your standout style, and we usually have 3 elements to it. And we make sure that that branding, if you wish to call it branding, is effective across the board. So often when I look at new coaches, and even some established coaches, the branding is either non-existent, or the style, the vibe that we're getting is either non-existent, or it's chippy choppy. You know, it's a bit of this meme from someone and a bit of this meme from someone else, and we don't want that. We want your style across the board. You don't want to be, remember, just another life coach. You want to be this radiance that attracts the amazing people that you want to work with. I call them your soul people, to you. So having a vibe that people will gel with. I can tell you right now, because of all my sparkles and the goddessy stuff and that I absolutely love, some people just hate it. And that is fine, because I love it. So if you're, it's obviously not going to work for the people. That's not my vibe. And some people would prefer to go off to perhaps a way more masculine look with a male, for starters. And I talk magic and I work with tools within the mystical realm, and that is not attractive to some people, and that is fine. But I love the people who do like that, and come along with it. So make sure you've got that presence across the board. Step 8. I think, because we're online businesses, one of the best things, it's you can't ignore it. It's social media in some sense. So it's just the easiest way to reach many people in this age at the moment. But I think a lot of people think they need to be everywhere. Oh my God, I've had some people go, oh, I'm trying to be on TikTok and Pinterest and Instagram and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Facebook all at once, and it's so tiring. Don't. You just got to choose 1, 2, or at most 3 places where your soul market is, and then do those well. So I chose Facebook groups in the early days and really focused on building a larger group for coaches and change makers. That's where I put all my focus and energy, because you know that where you focus is what grows. So of course, if you've got focus in too many places, it can't grow properly because you're all over the place. So find where your people are. And also, I think it really helps to find the places that you enjoy as well. I mean, I just enjoy Facebook. I quite enjoy Instagram, but I haven't done it personally for myself. I do have my horses account on Instagram, and I do like to play on that with other horse people, horse girls, as they call them, us. LinkedIn is a place where my market is, but are they my soul market? Yes, there are plenty of coaches on LinkedIn, but are they my soul market? So I've always avoided LinkedIn because, one, I just didn't enjoy it. I did not like LinkedIn. Now, that does not mean that I will see some of my clients and I'll say LinkedIn is your pathway, because I can see their clients are there, and also they actually fit into that LinkedIn environment very, very well. I'm just going to start dipping my toes into LinkedIn a little bit more seriously now, because they keep telling me, oh, it's changing, it's not so stuffy anymore. So I'll go and have a bit of a play and see how my soul market is, and if they are there on LinkedIn as well. So know where your soul market is and focus on those places. Do not believe, the Grant Cardones and that, who tell you that you have to be in this multi-universe where you have to show up everywhere. No, you only have to show up in front of your ideal people. And, for me, it's not Snapchat for starters, and I'm not particularly into TikTok either. Okay. I think personality-wise, it doesn't really suit me, TikTok, and I'm not that sure that my particular market and the age that I like to work with are particularly there on TikTok anyway. Step 9, you've got to have something absolutely glorious that your soul market want to give away for them. And this acts as, you'll hear the phrase lead magnet. Marketers coming into my group love to use the phrase lead magnet when we have the questions, the opening questions into my group. And one of the questions is, what's your biggest problem with getting known and attracting clients? And every 6-finger marketer will tell me, I don't have enough leads. And that's most likely because, one, they don't have an amazing enough lead magnet for their market. And secondly, probably they haven't built the audience yet either. Audience building is kind of crucial. And that's what we work with the Spotlight Academy, is showing you some of the ways to build the audience. So this lead magnet needs to get noticed by the very people you want to be noticed by. So it must be something that they really, really want. We have a full client capture system in the Academy, which we'll take you through. But if you're doing this on your own, one of the first places, if you're thinking, what is my lead magnet going to be? You need to talk to your market if you don't know them well. That's the best place to start. If you know them really well, you'll have a good idea of what it is that they would just want. But if you don't know them well, which a lot of people don't actually, and don't know them intimately, and they come up with ideas, be mindful of making sure that you don't create a lead magnet that you want, that you think they want, and then find out that they don't want. Your first lead magnet, you might end up creating multiple lead magnets. I've got some multiple ones because you've had to go at the first one and then you find that you've got a better idea. That's perfectly fine. You've got to have at least one really good one to bring the people in. All right, step 10. We're almost at the end of these steps too, by the way. So step 10, your jump off the fence offer. This really is a no-brainer, low cost, low risk that your ideal clients will need and want. Why I call it the jump off the fence offer is it's designed to get all those people that are watching you. Some of you who have audiences will know that, oh, I've got these people who engage with me, and they always like my stuff, and they show up to my lives, and they show up to my free classes, but they don't ever buy. You need to bring in a jump off the fence offer, because these are the lurkers, the free content consumers, and though they're watching you, they haven't quite jumped off the fence yet. We need to give them a no-brainer to have them jump off that fence without hesitation. It's like, yeah, I'm in. If it's a higher cost and they see some risk, they're not going to do that jump in. But what happens with the jump off the fence offer is at that lower cost, low risk and no brainer solution that you're giving them, and be mindful it's only part of the solution, not the whole solution, because we're only going low cost here. It is that time that they're spending with you that they realize they want to hang around with you a lot longer. And that's how you start to create ultimate long-term clients who love to keep working with you. Will then, go into maybe your one-to-one packages or into your larger group program, or want to work with you continuously. But you've got to get them off the fence first. If you don't have a great jump off the fence offer, that can be quite difficult, because a lot of people, it's not always that easy to jump from here into a higher price, particularly the one-to-ones. When you're looking at 6,000 to 10K and stuff like that, it can be a little bit hard for people. But if they've spent a bit of time with you and they really, really have seen you deliver a result where there was no risk for them, they do get the idea that you are the real deal. So that's just talking a little bit more, of course, around our jump off the fence offers. It should bring in your soul clients, or bring in people and you go, no, I don't want to work with you. And that can happen sometimes. Of course, we need to be able to bring in the ideal people that we want. It also, the jump off the fence offer, I find, is really beautiful because it creates clients without those awkward sales calls to the cold prospects. A lot of people really struggle with sales calls. I never do, because I've always got warm prospects who are almost pretty much sold, or, really, really itching to learn more. So I don't really ever have cold prospects on. But for a lot of coaches, they end up with cold prospects on. It's very awkward, especially if they haven't been involved with you or seen any of your stuff or whatever. It's a hard sell, and people go, I'm no good at sales. It's not that you're no good at sales. It's just that people haven't been warmed up enough beforehand. So our lead magnet and our jump off the fence offer are warm-uppers, and they work really well. So you'll go from an average, I've had some people doing discovery calls where they're just, DMing and then booking discovery call. They might have 10 discovery calls a week and they might sign one. That's a really low conversion rate, 10%, really low conversion rate. You want to make sure with this process, we're getting up closer to a 90 to 95%, even 100% when you really, really are shining out there and people really know who you are and what you do for them, hence your one thing. They will be closer to 100%. We don't want to be having discovery calls with people who mostly are not a match. Secondly, it's cold and awkward, and you've got to try them, sell them on something when they don't even really know that much about you. So your conversion calls results will go up, and you'll probably have a lot less conversion calls than doing the hustling route, which gives you a lot of conversion calls, but a really low conversion rate. We want to have less time on conversion calls, ideally, but a totally 90, 95%, even 100% sign up rate from those conversions funds. So our time is utilized so much better. These are things we talk about in the academy. Step 11, this is your last one. You must have a radiance influence get known strategy. We've got to have the strategy. And I'm not talking a cookie cutter strategy that doesn't work from you. It must be unique and individual to you. This is how you build your audience, impact more lives. This is how you get to be known. You know, it's like, you know, I want to go to, you know, I want to go to Serena, for example. She does this. She's the person I know that will help me there. It also will help you create abundance for yourself and also the lives of others, because I know my soul clients have an in-core want to not only create abundance for themselves, but to really, really help other people in whatever way it is. So that's what your radiance and influence strategy will do. It's setting that. So that is like, I could do so much more trainings on the radiance and influence strategies that we can all look at, but that's what we do in private work with me or in the Spotlight Academy. What I've given you is the foundation steps that if you are missing some of those, you might find the missing link as to one, why you're not attracting as many clients as you would like to at this moment. You might say, well, there's one of my missing links. Now your strategy is very much around having, you know, instead of out there trying to do everything, having a solid way that's going to build that radiance, build that influence over your soul people, so they do want to come and work with you. And when I talk influence, I'm not talking hard stamping influence. We're talking about this magic, beautiful influence where you sort of just influence in a good way. That's what we're really talking about. So when we look at radiance and influence strategies, you know, I've had, just to give you an example of some of the clients I've had people who've really focused on LinkedIn. I've had people who have really focused on their YouTube videos and building subscribers and an audience through their YouTube videos. I've had people that have really, really worked on using Facebook groups and building their own community. Some have really, really wanted to add speaking as part of their radiance and influence strategy. I have a lot that I'm working with at the moment that are very, very interested in utilizing the media. I was brainstorming with a client yesterday, and we've come up with a fabulous way of using the media for her particular one thing and for her market in that. And we've pinpointed all the places where she would be able to pitch to and show up, and some of the ways we can utilize celebrities to get more notice in a really good way. So that's a strategy. It's not just trying a bit of this and a bit of that. We work out, where's your talents? Where do you enjoy? And at what level are you also, you know? Some of you may not be ready for deciding to do big speaking events or summits. Holding big summits is another strategy that people use very well for list building. So there are a mass lot of different strategies out there. And it can be very confusing for you to know, you know, oh, people are doing this, that. There's so much things to do. And of course, you end up getting overwhelmed, starting to go, I can't do this. There's too much to do. It's not about doing everything. Again, it's about finding a couple of good strategies for you, creating the plan for it and sticking to it till the results come through, which they will, because when you stick to something with commitment and belief, it works. It will come through. You want to be the light to have people come to you. That's what we're aiming for because they know who you are and what you can do for them. Remember what we said, if they can't, how can they possibly hire you if they don't know you exist? I think, you know, reach is low, for example, on Facebook these days as well. And we just have to work around it, you know. So if you find there's low reach on Facebook, we have to look for other strategies to work around it. Any radiance and influence strategy that you devise with me or on your own, if you're doing this on your own, will work if you commit to it and if you know what you're doing with it. So, for example, if media is one, you really do need to know how to pitch to them in a way that makes you sound standout-ish. Now, there's a lot of very poor pitches going out to the media that I see really, really badly. None of these radiance and influence strategies for yourself will work if you're dabbling. So it does take a commitment. That's why I don't like you to dabble a bit over here, a bit over there, and a bit here, just because so-and-so said this works, so you're going to run over there and try that. It just doesn't work because you don't give enough time for, it's like a snowball. You got to let the snowball roll down the hill and get larger and larger and larger till boom, it explodes with all your brilliance and everyone sees how amazing you are and it starts working. It takes time. But with commitment, you know, imagine where you could be in 12 months. So I remember when I first started out, I was doing some stuff with Hay House people. And I remember at one of the events, Reed Tracy, the CEO of Hay House, saying that on average, it takes 10 years for people to go from sort of no one to well known. He particularly looked at that with his authors. So it takes about 10 years. I actually believe that 10 years is a great career in the coaching industry, and you'll obviously be able to go for a lot more. You'll certainly have some traction, but for many people, they don't even make it to 1 or 2 or 3 years because it just doesn't come together for them. So what we're trying to do is make it come together for you in terms of switching on the light bulb for you so that after people stop working with me, they can continue on with the strategies that they've developed, with the knowing how to create offers that that are ideal for their soul people, and they can keep on working then because they've got a solid plan in place. It can take way less than 12 months. It's not that you'll be Tony Robbins or Brene Brown or any of these, you know, Lisa Nichols or any of these big names in less than 12 months. That would be highly unusual to happen. But Jen, for example, started with me and never had a client. And then she considered herself after 3 months booked out on her schedule. It may not be someone else's version of booked out, but it was booked out for Jen and the amount of clients she likes to serve and work with so that she can also have the life that she wants. I remember when I started coaching school, I almost had a heart attack because they told us that we needed to have 20 clients running at once and serving them all day, every day to actually have a coaching business. I was like, that's not going to work for me. And that's when I realized how much information being given out there in the coaching industry didn't always work for us individually. I was surprised at how many people just lapped that up and went with it because they were told that. I don't want to work with people who are just lapping it up and because they're told that. I want people to think for themselves, be able to plan and work with me on their individual strategies in a way that it works for them. So I was told that you need to have 20 clients, one-to-one, 20 clients running it. But that is not going to happen because how can I, you know, do all my morning, you know, I like to spend time in the morning working on myself and exercising, and then in the afternoons after 4 or 5 I like to be out with my horses and working with them. So that wasn't going to work for me to have 21 to 1 to make the income. So obviously I looked at ways of, you know, creating more clients in less time. So that's what my strategy was very focused on: more clients, less time, and just a few one-to-one. So I actually don't like working myself personally with any more than 5 one-to-ones at a time. I will not take on any more than 5 one-to-ones. Yet I have some beautiful group programs in the academy, of course, as well, which frees up the rest of my time and I can devote the one-to-many. So you don't always have to take on board what others are taking you and see it as gospel just because they're a so-called guru. You need to think for yourself with all the advice that's being given out there and start to work out what's going to work for you. Yeah, 5's enough for me, Amy. That's where I like to be with the one-to-one. And of course, I love all my people. Shelley's 2 to 3 clients a week is enough for me. Yeah, quality. And also what was happening with, you know, the coaches that I've seen that are hustling away trying to serve 20 one-to-ones a week is they're doing burnout. Within 3 years, they might have had enough of this. This isn't what I signed up for. Really, that's what they end up saying. I came into this coaching because I wanted freedom and lifestyle, and all I'm doing now is working like practically even more than 9 to 5, and then working for clients. So yeah, we need to be smarter with our coaching business than necessarily just following the mainstream advice, and also think beyond the one-to-one. Though having beautiful one-to-one clients is wonderful. I love having my one-to-one clients. So I just want to see if I can share something with you, because if it is your time to shine, I'm going to share with you a little bit about what I've been talking about all today, which is the Academy. It is starting next week. And of course, we have people signed up. But if you want to jump in now, kind of last minute, I was meant to do this Brilliance class a few weeks ago, but I got held up because my horse had to go to a specialist in Wagga, and I've been running around after that. She has come down with a recurrent cancer, but they did say she was going to be dead within 6 weeks, like 5 years ago, and she's still going strong. So I think love and good care can do a lot. So if it's okay with you, can I get some yeses that it's okay? I need a yes. Give me a yes in the chat that it's okay to talk a little bit about the Academy for any of those of you that are interested. Or thank you, thank you, thank you. Please also remember, I'm going to do 5 draws in the minute at the end of this as well, and then I'll book with you later on after this call. I'll just connect with you, or you connect with me if we're not friends. And 5 of you will get one of those Radiance readings. You know how I talked about that special little talent of mine where I can see here in this dimension, and then that dimension of your full radiance, your full potential, your fullness of you is there beside you. And we can do a little, a nice little reading around that for around 20 minutes. So we'll see who that comes up for. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Let's move on for a little bit more fun stuff. It's just a reminder, when you get known, you'll get clients. Remember, if nobody knows who you are, they can't possibly hire you, and that's a fact. And it amazes me how many coaches that I was working with when I was working at Australia's largest coach training facility. I was one of the mentors there. Amy's been there as well as one of the mentors, and helping out with all the trainings there as well. Is how many people were trained to be amazing coaches. Like the training, I feel at there was top notch, and it pulled out amazing, highly skilled coaches, but most of them didn't know how to actually get clients. So then they'd go home and say and announce, I'm a life coach. And then it was like, well, where's the clients? They're not showing up. So many of it happens in my local town here. All of a sudden I'll see a little business card in the new age shop or something in town, and it's like, hey, I'm a life coach, book for your session. And it doesn't happen. We've got to, if we really want to create a soul aligned, abundant life as a coach and a change maker, we need to think beyond that. We need to step up into our true radiance and brilliance of what we really can be. Now, it's not scary. You don't have to think that you're going to jump from here to there. It's a journey, but it's a beautiful journey. And if you can do it with ease and grace and flow and having the right support and guidance, it's just so much nicer than trying to hustle your way through. I've worked with those trying to hustle, and they are in a very, very confused and desperate place. And we want to take away that desperation and give you the belief, your own belief, that anything is possible for you, because it is. Really, it's limitless. It's not about people getting lucky. It's about people believing and doing what they have. When you have this radiance and influence is when you do get to make the difference in the world that you dream of. Or for me, as I said, was probably less about making difference in the world, but more about creating freedom for myself so I can continue to do the work that I do with the wildlife and the animals. But also, I have discovered along the way that I just love coaches and change makers who are in this for the greater good. I'm very put off by those that are not. Those that are not, I'm like, yeah, you can go off and do your own little thing with the marketers. But for those that are really, really here, making their differences for themselves and really invested in their clients without being overrun by their clients and head to burnout, I think they're amazing. I think they're wonderful. And they're the people I love to vibe with and I love to hang out with, because our discussions are endless and limitless as well. Don't think you can't do this. Look, I'm shy. I'm an introvert. I'm a hermit. If I can do it, you can too. And that's a fact. It's not just a saying. I know a lot of people think I'm too introverted to do this, or I'm even on the other side, some of even the other extroverts or the people who jump all over the place, the multi-passionists. They haven't been able to find their footing yet, haven't been able to find their one thing, their place yet. So they think they can't. You can. You can. It is all very doable. You just need a bit of the guidance, a bit of the structure, and also to pull out what's individual and amazing about you and make sure that that's what's shining. I want you to be bold enough to astound yourself with what you can really do. So let's wave the magic wand. This is where it's going to start. Your radiance and influence for attracting clients starts here. And da-da, this is it. The Step in the Spotlight, Get Known, Attract Clients Academies. Now, we've got some people on here that have been through it. And, you know, I love that they still come along and join with me on these things. We've got some people that are on here that are already booked in for it. So I love that you've come along for this because you're going to learn so much in the academy. It does go for a full 12 months. So it is a 12 months of commitment. And the reason I do that is because you cannot make things happen in 6 weeks in the way that the academy can pull stuff together when we've got longer time to work with you. It is a commitment to the business building, not just doing short courses. Short courses are wonderful. I love doing them. There are a few that I'm doing at the moment, but I have always found that my best results get from the commitment that I've done when I've signed up for a longer term program or academy in some way. Though the short courses are great for learning little bits and pieces, and then if you are able to, pulling it all together. Let's talk a little bit about the academy. As I said, it is comprehensive. It is 12 months. It's really to help you own your one thing, own your brilliance, and get your work and your message out there in front of people. That's really what we are doing there. I want you to tap into your own extraordinary power. I don't want you following someone else's system. Yes, you do get a step-by-step with me. You know, I've just given you a step-by-step as to some of the foundational things that we make sure are in place. So we do work like that. But with each of you individually, it's finding where your magic is, finding where your passion and your brilliance is and your individual talents. I'll pick on Julie and Amy again because they've both just gone through the academy, and Amy's brilliance and talent is extremely different to our rich witch, Julie Nelson. Extremely different. And the way they operate is extremely different. So with both of them, though they followed each steps that we worked through throughout the 12 months, they did them in their own very, very individual way. And that's what it's really about in the academy. These are just some of the things that will make sure that you can have a quick read of that. But most of all, I want you to be able to define your one thing and then start to create and have in place the strategy, the plan, and the offers and the ways and the programs that are going to bring you in the clientele and the income that you deserve as a coach and change maker. Okay. If anyone wants any more of this information, you can go to the website on it. So that's a bit more information. It is every week. You have a call with me, and you also have an accountability call as well. So you've got 2 weeks to work on each module to get everything in place. 1 week is live training with me, and the second week is accountability, because there is no way I'm leaving you on your own. So we have accountability. One of the good things too is that you get your own support coach as well. So you will be assigned someone who will keep an eye on you, and you'll get an extra session. You'll get a session with your support coach each month as well to make sure you're on track. And I'm making sure that everything's coming together on our weekly, training calls and accountability calls as well. On the accountability calls, you have to show up having done it or letting us see that you are pulling it together at least. So that accountability is something that I found missing in a lot of programs out there. Like, people were pretty much left to their own. So I wanted to make sure that nobody is left behind and on their own, so everyone can move at a pace. You will do the 3 profile stages. That is, you'll work on your client attraction essentials. You'll work on then creating that presence, and then you will really work on pulling together a radiance and influence strategy. Okay. So that is really the 3 stages that you'll be working on throughout the 3 months. 3 months, throughout the 12 months. Just some of the comments that I've threw up there that I grabbed last night. A little tip for anyone: if people write raving, beautiful things about you, grab them. Grab them. Don't just leave them there. Do a little screenshot and copy them, because they're gorgeous to share. Obviously, ask their permission as well, but once they've put it out there, it's out for all the world to see. So grab them. We do tell you in the Spotlight Academy to make sure that you've got yourself a little raving fans folder where you can keep all the gorgeous things your people say about you, your soul clients. This is Tamika. She just went through, I just tell you a little bit about Tamika. She came in working mainly on Facebook, but throughout it, she has found throughout the academy that she's really, really getting more traction on LinkedIn. So her whole strategy now has changed from the one-to-ones into the group programs, and then drawing most of her clientele now these days through LinkedIn. Not me, I'm hopeless on LinkedIn, but for Tamika, it worked perfectly. See, I don't let my bias get in the way. I don't like LinkedIn. But if it works, we're going to make sure that you're going to go down that line. This is Gorgeous Amy that we've just talked about. If you don't mind me saying, Amy was a little bit all over the place because she's so passionate and picks up things so easily and loves to play and explore. So we had to take that multi-passionist and turn it into one thing which she could play under. But at least she wasn't confusing her audiences because she had the one thing banner. But she could deliver stuff that still worked under the one thing, the outcome that she was focusing on, her messaging, and have all these different things that all led to that one path. So that was something that we did there with Amy. Melia is really, really working with, she decided by the end of it that she's really loving the idea of the media. So, and she's also putting a book together as well. So for the work that she does as a trauma specialist and emotional stuff, that is a perfect route for her. And she's actually already, just within a couple of weeks of trying media, has picked up a couple of magazines that she's writing for and also being featured in. So that's a good start for Amelia. So I think when Amelia keeps with her media strategy, as well as a couple of the other things that we worked on with Amelia in the academy, you will find her really starting to step out in the near future with those. Tess will be one of your support coaches. She's been working with me for quite a while now, and she came in again with something that I thought was not as bright as what she could be. I thought that her messaging and that when she first started with me, and it wasn't landing, she wasn't getting clients that she liked or wanted. And it was because she was hanging in the wrong places for starters of where she was trying to get clients. So the type of clients she wanted to work with weren't where she was hanging. So we completely switched the strategy and completely changed her messaging. And now she has a podcast. She is actually known for soul power. If anyone wants soul power, you go to Tess Vergara. And now she's really working in the arena that she loves to work. So that's been a change up for Tess. And yeah, she has joined the team and is one of the amazing support coaches that will help you. She actually does help you with the belief in the soul power. And again, my gorgeous Rich Witch, Julie Nelson. Julie's coming up with some great ideas. She had started her own community around Rich Witch. She's coming up with some great ideas. And Julie, I'm actually looking forward to coming along to your workshop at the Carrington. Julie's going to start holding some workshops around her particular area of passion and brilliance, and I will be going along to one of them as well because it's not too far from me, so that's going to be amazing. All right, this is what it is. It's really, really quite affordable for 12 months of business building. Look, you can either go on it on your own and just grab bits and pieces, and hopefully this has served you today and you're able to use that workbook and work through it, and I'm quite happy for you to do that. If you just want to go and take the workbook, work through the steps. Obviously I don't give you the Radiance Influence strategy because that is something very, very individualized, but in the Spotlight Academy we work through all the different options that you could be doing out there. So there you can just pay in full and you will save $308 there, or 12 payments at $359. Now that's Aussie dollars. So anyone in the US, it's about $3,000, I think, maybe a bit more in the US. So for 12 months, I find that this is amazing, which is what many people have told me, one of the best value, high support, and high guidance programs out there for coaches and change makers. If anyone is questioning why I do it at that price, it is because it is because a lot of new coaches aren't getting enough clients yet to pay, 10 grand, 20 grand, or any of those other prices that we could charge for an academy like this. I want to make sure that you're getting the startup that you want. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about our newer coaches, or our coaches have been for a little while but haven't quite developed to where they want to develop yet, is because I've worked with you so much and so long, because it's the start out coaches that I was working with as a mentor. So I have a particular passion for our start out coaches, and also our coaches that haven't quite got to where they want to get yet. So it's not my vibe or my mission to want to work with the people who are already earning, 7 figures and then take you further. My mission is to get the beauties that are starting out now on the right track. And that came from mixing with these people. But it makes sense to charge at a price that suits where they are at. And that's why, because someone has questioned me, why is it so much less than everyone else's? It's not because it's any less value. I tell you what, it's top value. And I'd ask you to check in with anyone that's just been through it, and you can see it's really, really good value. So let's have a look. If you want in, there's a couple of things you can do. You can message me after this. So if you're connected with me on Facebook, just reach out. And if you want to ask any questions or anything, then by all means, just do that. You can head to that, spotlight.com.au Spotlight program. I'm wondering if anyone has got that in front of them. Maybe Amy, if she's still there, might be able to stick that link for me in the chat box. I'm hoping someone might be able to grab that, if anyone has access to it. But I'll just let you screenshot that, because that will take you to the website. You can actually sign up there, but you can find more information on it as well around this. You do need to be quick, because we are actually hitting off on Tuesday, which is Monday night for the US. So there's not a lot of time to stuff around with it. You either want in or you don't, and that's fine. But if you want in, get onto it like ASAP, because once we hit Tuesday, we are actually starting. So I'm not giving anyone. Thank you, Amy, for that. I'm not stretching. Serena, thank you. Wonderful. So yeah, you don't have months to think about this one. You don't even have weeks. If you want in, come and jump in, and you will be with us for 12 months of amazing accountability and guidance. And I love the connections that the Spotlighters make with each other as well. They build such a close-knit tribe that continues to help and support each other out along the way as well. So if you are finding that you've been doing it on your own, then this is perfect for you as well. Because I know for some coaches and change makers, it can feel like you're doing everything on your own. This is not. You will have full support, not only from me and my team, and but you will also have the other people around you. So the bonds that you make in 12 months end up becoming your peers, and they're the people that you'll collaborate with and connect with in the future as well. Trust me on that. You will end up. So let's draw our 5 Radiance winners. So how am I going to work this? I'm going to go through the list here, and I'm just going to scroll up and down and decide to stop every now and then and see and draw 5. So see if your name's there. We've got 13 on. A couple have jumped off, and that's fine. And that's because I did go on a little bit longer. Let's have a look. Let me scroll. All right, Janine B. You are 1. Okay, so we've got Janine B. Actually, let me write this down so I don't forget, because I need to make sure I contact with you. Janine, I'm not really sure if I've met you before or who you are, so I will need you to see if you can email me or message me, or even connect with me on Facebook, and we will get that done for you, hook that up for you. Let's see who else is here. Sheila, my wonderful Sheila. I love Sheila's work. If anyone's not connected with Sheila, she does do very, very wonderful spiritual work. Sheila, you've got 1. Caro Ingram. Now, I think that's Caroline Ingram. I think. I could be wrong. But there you go. You've got one. Let's do another 2. This is very random, guys. I'm just kind of counting. I just chose a number to count. Serena. Karen, haven't met you yet, Serena. I know that you have made some a little bit of inquiry about our weekly Spotlight online meetup. That's always a lot of fun as well. So if anyone wants to come along with that, it's every week. You'll just find information in that group. And Donna. I don't have any details on you, Donna, but if you could reach out to me and I'll make sure that we hook up and I can do your radiance reading as well. Anyone who works with me will find out that that's part of the fun of working with me. I do pull in on some other tools as well to really look into what it is you are creating and how you can pull it together as well. Strategy takes us everywhere, and then my side of things also helps us find the way. That's the way I like to look at it. Okay, I'm being told that we have met and you'll remind me. It's a bit hard because I actually don't have anyone videos up. You guys might all have your video up, but I actually don't. So I'm just looking at myself and the screen at the moment. All right, last is if anyone has any questions, then it is Q&A time. I will stop share and I might be able to then see who else is on. Here we go. I've got some faces now. Q&A time. If anyone wants to ask a question, you can just unmute. I'm here. If you need to go, by all means go. If you need to look at the academy, Amy was very thankful, Amy, for putting, and Serena did as well, the Spotlight link in there. You'll need to jump onto that because I said we're actually starting on Tuesday and we do have some spaces. It's not huge. I don't take huge classes. If I get too many people, I end up doing 2 separate classes at different time zones, whatever suits you. But at this moment, we're just looking at the lunch. All right. Okay. Any questions, anyone? I hope you enjoyed that. Anyone feel that, oh, I know where I missed out on? I hope it was mind-altering in some way. You'll get a lot more around the actually strategy options and how to pull them together, pull together your programs, your offers, and all that sort of stuff if you come into the academy with us. All right, doesn't look like there's any questions. I'm going to leave you all to it. You're all hopping off now. Enjoy the night, US and Australia. Enjoy your day. And I will see you all later. Bye for now.